Thank you, everyone. And it's now my great pleasure to introduce you to today's guest speaker, Kim Stanwood Terranova. Kim is a licensed spiritual practitioner from Agape International Spiritual Center, although she does consider our center to be her second home. She's a frequent Wednesday presenter here, and beginning in September, she will be speaking here on Sundays every second Sunday. So please give a warm welcome to Kim Stanwood Terranova.
Brad, could you, oh, hey, thank you. Do you see how that is? Okay, there's a metaphor for life right there. I'm asking for help. There's a metaphor for life right there. That's going to make me weepy just thinking about that. How often do we ask for help? And just say, help. So funny. Wow, sorry, that just took me. I just got back recently from Costa Rica. Some of you know that I've had this blessing of being there a lot since January. And Reverend Michael told me the story that I had not realized, that he was caught in the riptide on his last visit to Costa Rica. And he was caught out there quite a length out for quite a while. And to the point that he couldn't get back in. And knew, no one was swimming with him, that he was in trouble. And when he looked at me and said, there was a moment that I just said, help. I need help. And he said, in that moment that I surrendered, he knew, like, wait, I need help now. He said everything before him, family, friends, everybody that would be affected if he was going down in the ocean, came before him, and it was as if this angelic presence kind of moved the ocean and guided this riptide to stop so that he could come in. But I forgot that story till I just said, I need help. So thank you. Thank you. You just cleared the riptide wide open for me. Thank you. So, life is so amazing. Life is so amazing. Who says yes to life is amazing? Yes. Life is so amazing. I love looking at all these beautiful faces. I'm so excited. We have this option in life. We have this option. We can either opt in, opt out. Opting into an amazing life, or we just sit it out. I really feel that when we came into this life, when we had this moment that we were being birthed and coming in and taking our first breath, that those angels there didn't look at us and say, all right, you have a choice here. You could have a mediocre life. So I just want you to know, you get to choose right now. You could go for mediocre, so-so. You may not be so happy. Things aren't going to work out so well. Or you can go for extraordinary. You can go for whatever you wish. You can have that. I really don't think those angels were saying that. Anyone agree with me? Yes. Mediocre wasn't in the conversation. Mediocre, so-so, it's not going to work out for you was not in the conversation. That's not part of God's plan. Mediocre, so-so, I don't know how it's going to work out for you. Brilliance, magnificence, divine order everywhere we go is part of God's plan. We just forget. And it's our job to stay awake to remember, wait, I signed up for brilliance. Who signed up for brilliance in here? Brilliance! Wait, I want to see everyone's hand. Who's signing up now for brilliance? Yes! We have a choice from this moment onward. What are we going to choose? But we must prepare for the journey. So I want to ask you a few questions and just yes if this is you. Who brushed their teeth this morning? Yes. Brilliant. Who got dressed? Yes. Everybody got dressed. Who got up and looked in the mirror? Yes. A whole bunch of yeses. Who checked their cell phone today? Yes. Oh, come on, be honest. Yes. Who checked it more than 10 times? Yes, see. So all this is saying is that you were preparing for today. That's all it was saying. You took preparation to get here. You got dressed, you got up, you brushed your teeth. You probably did a lot of other things I haven't mentioned, but you prepared to be right here. Now, where are we preparing for excellence? Where are we preparing for extraordinary? It doesn't just happen by chance, as in if we are not willing to be placed, the receptive place to receive extraordinary. I have this vision that however many times we look at our cell phone, what if each time you looked at your cell phone, in that moment you went, I'm preparing for excellence right here? Could you imagine? That'd be like hundreds of times. That'd be a really good use of cell phone. To really look at it and go, oh, I'm preparing for excellence right here. As I send this text, I'm preparing for excellence. How many of you, by yes again, told somebody you loved them this morning? Oh, that was good. How many people told 2 people you love them this morning? How many people told yourself you loved yourself this morning? I'm sorry, how many? I hear a few. I heard a few there. In other words, again, what are we preparing for? What are we preparing for each and every day? Sometimes I think most of us prepare for a disaster before we prepare for love. How many of you have your disaster kit ready? That's what I'm talking about. I would love it to be an opportunity each day to think, you know what? If I just don't look at a possible disaster, I'm prepared. And I'm looking at who am I in this moment? What am I preparing for myself? If you're cultivating love today, you are in preparation. If you are cultivating compassion today, you are in preparation. If you're cultivating kindness today, you're in preparation for an extraordinary life. So I want you to just think wide this day. Like, what am I cultivating this day? What am I in preparation for? The goodness or the preparation for, oh no, what I fear? Spirit is listening no matter what. So we have the choice. Do we prepare for the magnificence that this is all before us, that Spirit has before us, or do we prepare for our fear thoughts? And I'm asking you from this point onward to truly catch, what am I preparing for? Which means you're going to have to be aware of what's going on in your chatterbox, yes? Must be aware of what's going on in your chatterbox. I want to read to you something that Ernest Holmes says in one of my most favorite books. I still find humor that this is one of my most favorite books, that it's so tattered that it's like one of those teddy bears that you hold too long. I love it. He says on page 57 of this thing called You, it is because the law of life is it's the center of your being that your thought is creative. The law of God acting through you makes your thought creative. It takes the form of your thought and reacts to your word exactly as you think it. The law reacts to your word exactly as you think it. Your individual use of this law becomes the law of your individual being. While this is one of the most profound concepts ever believed in, it is also one of the most simple. Instead of having an individual creative mind, you really have an individual or personal use of a law which is infinite. Through this law, you can bring things to you from the uttermost parts of the earth. There's no limit. What if we woke up every morning and thought, there's no limit living today? What if we thought past our to-do list and really looked at, but there's no limit. So here it is. I could bless it and know there's something occurring through it that's bigger than what I know right now. So I want us to look at the pathways of how we create that as life, how we create a life that is no limit living. We must first and foremost be willing. We must be willing. To be willing to create a life that is extraordinary, our hearts must be open and receptive. Willingness is a key. Willingness is when you say yes more often than you say no in your own chatterbox. I had an agreement from the second I received my license as a practitioner. I remember it clearly that I made an agreement with myself and with Spirit that I was saying yes. I was saying yes. If somebody needed prayer anywhere they needed prayer, I was saying yes. If somebody needed assistance, if I was called to be somewhere, I was saying yes. I was willing. Willing. I was in Reverend Michael's office in January in prayer, with 6 or 7 other practitioners completely in prayer, listening, and all of a sudden Reverend Michael walks in the door and says, Kimberly! I kind of sat up straight and he says, I have to talk to you. And I said, am I in trouble? And he looks at me and goes, you're not in trouble. You probably could be, but you're not in trouble. And I thought, Okay, that's just very telling. And so then he said, I have an opportunity for you. And I said, okay. And he went to sit down, and I closed my eyes again, and then I opened them, and I went, well, you know I'm going to say yes. Whatever it is, you know I'm going to say yes. But I'm very curious. This will be very interesting. And I let it go. An hour later, his assistant stopped me outside and said, did the Rev talk to you? And I said, no, he just said he had something to talk to me about. She said, oh, he wants you to be the key teacher down in Costa Rica at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center. I went, well, I'm so grateful. I said yes. I was willing. My point being is, where can we just be willing to say yes to Spirit before we even have the details? Before you have the details. That is an act of powerful trust. Usually we say, well, wait a second. What's that going to cost me? How much time is that going to take? What do you really want? Think about that for a minute. Come on, let's be honest. How often do we say, wait? We put on the wait button instead of saying, lean in and say yes. I'm going to say yes to that, whatever that is. I invite you to be so willing that you are on the edge of your yes every moment of every breath, because then you are in choice. And when you are in choice, Spirit's going to unleash the magnificence before you, because then you're willing to look at it with a wide perspective and choose again. But we must be willing to say yes in the first place. Otherwise, our energy is shut down. Think about a no. Think when we say no. Just feel that in your body. What happens? We kind of go, shing, right? I don't have enough money. Everything goes tight. I don't have enough time. Everything tightens up. I'm not strong enough. I'm not. Our body reacts. And we get it by our senses. Think about it when you say yes. How come my arms always go up when I say yes? Because it's open and receptive. I challenge you today that how many times you could say yes to someone today. Oh, I love that. I love when I hear that. That means like somebody's taking it in like, whoo, she's really pushing it there. I am. But I usually let you know when I'm going to. I usually say I'm about to push you. I just want you to know energetically, I love you and I'm taking a stand for you. How many times can you say yes to your own life and to whatever someone else is calling for this day? So by the end of the today, when you put your head on the pillow, I just want you to have a little calculation. She asked me how many times I could say yes today. Just count. Was it 1? Was it 20? Just be aware that you are absolutely opening that door to be willing and available for your life to step into such magnificence that you don't recognize it next year. That you turn around and go, whoa, what just occurred in the last year of my life? I love those moments. That we turn around and truly can't recognize who we've become because we're so willing to keep growing and evolving and changing, which takes enormous courage. Right? Takes enormous courage. But we came in with it. It's not something we have to seek out and say, oh, where's courage? Where am I going to find courage? I got to go find me some courage. Who says that? Come on, what's Thank you. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh, I kind of felt that energy. I wouldn't know you would know that. The cowardly lion, I got to find me some courage. It's right there. It's right here. We came in with that too. We came in fully prepared to live an extraordinary life. Courage. Just pick it up and take it with you as you say yes today. Agreed? Oh, that was good. One more time. Agreed? Yes. We have big yeses in life. Yes. The second thing that we get to use today to practice living an extraordinary life is our willingness to let go. This one's a sensitive one. Our willingness to let go. When we hold on to things in life that no longer serve us, we stay stuck. Whether it's our story, our descriptive of ourselves. How many of you would like to release the descriptive you've had of yourself up until this moment?
Yes.
Yeah. You could have any descriptive you want. Any descriptive you want. There's been times I will look at a client with love and say, I can't agree with you because I'm not honoring you if I agree to stay stuck in that perception of you. Because I know who you are. When we let go of any past belief system that does not serve us anymore, we've outgrown it. We've stepped into a new life. We've outgrown it. Each day you could let go of something that does not fit anymore. Maybe it's an old belief of I can't. Maybe it's a thought of resentment towards someone else. What could it be that you truly can know, I'm dropping it now. I'm dropping it. Because the weight of it is too heavy. I once had an exercise that I did at a retreat I led where I asked people to look at the ground and pick up stones that had words that they felt they were embodying, whether it was guilt, whether it was frustration, whether it was anger. I asked them, just pick up those stones. And then I asked them to bring a bag, put it in that bag. So now you put that bag on your back. I had like 20 women looking at me going, you asked them, want me to do what? So put the bag on your back. And they started to reconsider how many stones they'd put there of all that they were carrying, guilt, resentment, anger. And they courageously put it on their back. I said, that's what you're carrying in your consciousness. So how does it feel hanging right here? Because you can let it go. But we must be willing, again, back to willingness, to have the courage to look at the things that don't serve us, truly let go through forgiveness, through release, through our spiritual practices that keep us awake. Our spiritual practices keep us awake. I had this wonderful blessing when I bumped into Brad outside, and I said, Brad, you're always so calm. I love that energy. You're just like, and he goes, everyone tells me that. And he said it very calm. I love it. He goes, Kim, even at work, people are saying to me, you're always so calm in the middle of activity. How do you do that? And as he was saying this, I thought, I heard what he was about to say, the answer, because I have the same answer, which I love, is he said, it's my spiritual practices. We could be in the middle of a storm, and if we pull out the tools of our spiritual practices, which all of you know how much I'm always asking, what are you practicing? What are you practicing? When we are living in our spiritual practices, our let go comes naturally. Because we're letting go of anything that doesn't serve us. When we are daily doing our prayers, meditating, setting our intentions, journaling, releasing, doing forgiveness work, then our let go comes naturally. All of a sudden we turn around and we think, oh, I haven't carried that for a while. Is this making sense? The willingness to let go of anything is profound. And our thought of thinking, if we hold something tight enough, it'll stay right here, really is the thought that it's a stagnation. We're holding it and not trusting that, Spirit, there's more. There's more. This week I had to let go of something, and I'm going to try to say this without crying. But I had to let go of a fond. One of our horses passed this week. And we had the blessing of being with her when she passed. And I've always said to people, it's one of the most honorable, biggest gifts in life, I believe, that you give someone is you're with them when they enter the world or you're with them when they leave the world. It's the best gift you could give someone, because who wants to be alone when you leave? And thank goodness we're always with someone when we enter. But that feeling to know that either way, these are big transitions. Can I walk with one that I love so dearly and let them go? All of us have been through this. It's not an easy thing to do. But it's a major let go, because it's such an act of love. It was so honorable to hold her precious head and say, I love you. Thank you for all the years you gave us. Oh my God, thank you. And it doesn't mean it was easy. It took enormous courage. And the let go, in the let go, I'm setting her free. I'm setting her free from a body that no longer served her. But that took enormous courage on her part and our part, yes? But our let go is amazing. Then, of course, as all of you know, the act of healing oneself after the let go occurs is another spiritual practice. I want to read something to you that I wrote this for Inner Visions 2 or 3 years ago, and I thought it appropriate that I found it this week. And it's called Let Go and Be Lifted. Recently, I was in a deep meditation, and I had a profound realization. I had just read something by John Randolph Price, where he spoke about being lifted up by spirit. I allowed that concept to sink in and noticed that my shoulders were tight. So I took a few deep breaths, and I released the tightness, the holding that had been living quite comfortably in my bones. As my shoulders dropped, I remember saying to myself, just let go. Let it all go. Suddenly I had this visual of me holding on to something so tightly, and how impossible it would be for God to lift me, as the reading had stated, for God to lift me up. It hit me so clearly. Spirit cannot lift me if I am still holding on to anything. It's impossible. I must absolutely let go in order to be lifted. Angels can fly me to the moon, but in order for me to be lifted to new heights of awareness, I must let go of where I am. We must let go of this moment to get to the next. And the process of truly living fully present in this one is an act of trust that the next one is coming. I think it's so amazing that we have these bodies that breathe themselves without us saying, hey, can you breathe right now? I need you to, heart, I need you to start beating right now. We don't have to tell our bodies anything. This air is coming in and out. I realized recently, perfect sign of trust. I trust my body so much, and I believe all of you do too, that as you exhale and let go, guess what's coming? The next inhale. It's such an act of trust that it's safe to let go. We could just contemplate that and be willing to let go every day, because we can think, wow, I just did it again. I just let go. There's more. There's always more. With every let go, Spirit is delivering more than we ever thought possible. When we just get into this place of, well, this is what I'm going to hold on to because this is what I know. How many of us do that? Who else does that? This is what I know, so I'll keep doing it because I know it works. But I really want to do that. There's room to let go and absolutely choose to fly to the next level of the evolution of our soul, but we must let go. So today, again, I'm giving you some work to do today. This is a fabulous Sunday. You got some yeses to say, you got some let goes to happen, and you're willing, yes? Yes. Lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for sharing me about our sweet little Dusty. I succeeded, got through it, and did not have loads of tears coming. I'm honoring her in that way. The third level of living an extraordinary life is, I have to tell you something that's really important. Extraordinary lives do not just happen. We have the opportunity for them, but they are intentional. When we are living an extraordinary life, it's an intention. We choose it, right? You heard me say that. Years ago, I had this big intention, this really big intention that was important to me, is I was driven to go to Machu Picchu. I had to go to Machu Picchu. I just knew that I was going to have an amazing experience there, and I was headed to Machu Picchu. So life turned it around, and my daughter had this opportunity at her school that came up where they said, oh, this year the school's going to Machu Picchu. I was like, this is perfect. That's where I said I wanted to go. So I said, Lila, you and I are going to go to Machu Picchu. My wonderful friends gifted me this for my birthday, so I was blessed and like, oh, this is magnificent. Got everything in order. We're there. We're going through Peru. We get on the train, hours up into the mountains. We get off the train. Then you got to hike up into these mountains to your hotel. We're dragging the bags, hiking. We get in there. We get all cozy. A couple hours have gone by, and all of a sudden the person at the hotel says, oh, we need all your passports, please. We need your passports to keep in the hotel. And I went, okay, great. Pull mine out. Honey, Lila, where's your passport? She was, I don't know where my passport went, Mom. I went, Lila? Honey, where's your passport? And she said, and all of a sudden her eyes welled up. She's like, Mom, I don't know. The last time I saw it, it was the only time on the trip that she had sat in a different spot than next to me. She wanted to go sit with her girlfriends. And I said, sure. So she had her passport, the only time on the trip that she had her passport on her own. And all of a sudden, I saw her eyes well up with tears, and I said, hey, it's okay, hold on. And the person at the door said, just want you to know, you don't get into the park at Machu Picchu without your passport. Says it right then. And we're supposed to be leaving in like 3 hours. I went, got it. We don't get into Machu Picchu without the passport. And I had this vision of, oh my gosh, how many years have I said, I'm going to Machu Picchu with my daughter? So I looked at her, and all of a sudden, I grabbed her hands. And again, she's really starting to get nervous now. And I said, honey, hold on. Our intention is we're going into the park. Do you understand? She was, yes, Mom, I do. And I go, okay, so just hold that. See that now. We don't forget the circumstances. We're seeing beyond the circumstances. Our intention is that big. See us in the park. And she's like, okay. And so she held my hands, and we said a massive prayer that wherever that passport was, we said it's in our hands. It's right here. We are walking into the park, that everything moves out of the way, and that passport is back. I don't care if Harry Potter has to fly it in himself. That passport is in my hand right now. If I could do it on that broom, I would do it myself. But I was like, Harry, I need your help. And so I said the prayer, amen. And she looked up at me, and she had tears in her eyes. And right then, perfect example of you pray, you move your feet, right? We didn't pray and sit down and go, well, when's Harry coming? Instead, it was like, okay, said the prayer. I looked at her, I said, all right, honey, I got to go. She's like, okay, what do? I go, you stay here. I got to go figure this out. She goes, okay, or I'm going to go see what I have to do. I walked outside, and there was a wonderful guide that, thank goodness, she speaks fluent Spanish. And she's like, Kim, we got to get back to the train. And I went, okay, do you think? She goes, I don't think that train is there, but if that passport's on it, that we have to go find. So we're running now back down all those hills, and we get to the train, and thank goodness she speaks Spanish. Because she looks at them and starts speaking in Spanish, and the guy crosses his arms, and he goes, nothing's on that train. He says that in Spanish. And I look and I go, ask him again if there's a way. And thank goodness, by the grace of God, Lila had given me a clue. Before I left, she said, Mom, I was sitting in seat number blah, 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 whatever it was, 32A or B or whatever. And I went, and I wasn't even quite sure why she told me, okay, honey, thanks. And I looked at the translator. I said, tell him to please check seat number da, 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 da. So she says to him, and the guy still crossing his arms like, we've cleaned that train. There's nothing on there. And he looked at me, and I'm like, oh, intending, Machu Picchu, here we are. Let's do this. And all of a sudden, he got the look in my eye, and he said something to her like, we'll do one more run through this train. And he said, but we'll let you know if we find it or not. So she looks back at me. We say another prayer before we leave him. I thank him. I look at her. I said, we're affirming this passport's in our hands. She goes, okay. It didn't matter what she thought of me, but she was just like en route with me. We walked back up the hill, go to our room. Lila's trying to stay centered, and I said, honey, just keep holding the vision, hold the vision, hold the vision. And she was, Mom, we're supposed to leave in like 2 hours ago. I know. Are you dressed? You got your shoes on? Because we're going to Machu Picchu. About an hour and 20 minutes later, unpack the bags, we hear a knock on the door. Translator opens the door. She's glowing, and I look at her, and she said, they found her passport slipped between the two seats. They wouldn't have noticed it if she didn't know the exact seat number she was in. I burst into tears, said, thank you, spirits. I did not thank Harry Potter. I thanked spirits straight up. Thank you for bringing us back this passport. And we were walking into Machu Picchu a few hours later. My intention was so pure, however many years before, that I said, I'm going there. Spirit's yes, who's always saying yes to us, was in alignment with that. Nothing was going to block that. Now, I want you to think of the times in your life that exactly what I've explained has happened to you. How many times has your intention been so pure that no matter what happened, you still were right there and it worked out? Everybody got an idea of that? That's what our life is like when we are living in intention. It takes down all circumstances. Reverend Michael will say the intentional life absolutely goes above any circumstance. It bends circumstances. So a circumstance can be, oh no, this isn't happening, when you have a clear intention to live an extraordinary life, to create love everywhere you go, to absolutely be fully expressed. Circumstances bend and bow before you to bring that forward. It's an energetic world we live in. So any circumstance gets to absolutely adhere to your intention. Is this making sense? Yes. So intentional living is powerful for an extraordinary life. And right here and now, if you just choose, like, I'm going to live an extraordinary life each and every moment. Here's your third assignment for today. I'm giving you 3. You got your yeses. What was your second? Whew, let go. You guys are good. And then the third one is, just this week, I want you to try each and every day one act to create an extraordinary life. It could be the one you're living, just being grateful for it. One act a day of what is it to be extraordinary this day. Agreed? Yes. Lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then all you have to do is cultivate that field of receptivity so it has a place to land. When we cultivate the field of receptivity and everything is coming to us, then we are in a place of just being appreciative and receptive. And in that, every day, are you willing to accept your goodness? I'm willing to accept this. I'm willing to accept this. Who did I say that to in the last few days? Can you be willing to stand it and say, I'm just willing to accept all the greatness that God is bringing? This is the beauty of your life, is that we get to run through life together to create through our practices, through bumping up against one another, to create and accept all that God is bringing to us. Sorry, I have to take a breath. I'm getting too excited again. One huge, massive, deep breath, please. Repeat after me. I am willing this day to create an extraordinary life.
I am willing this day to create an extraordinary life.
I'm willing to say yes.
I am willing to say yes.
I am willing to take a stand for my life.
I am willing to take a stand for my life.
I'm willing to set my intention for the highest good.
I am willing to set my intention for the highest good.
And I'm willing to know the truth about every person in my life.
And I'm willing to know the truth about every person in my life.
Yes, 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 yes. 3 yeses, please.
Yes, yes, yes.
Magnificent. This is where we're living. Intentional, willing, open, receptive, grateful. All of this cultivates your field of consciousness. I welcome you to say yes as often as possible. I welcome you to live a field of gratitude. And I welcome you to have so much intention in your life that you literally are in awe of all that keeps showing up. And when you're in awe, I will be reminding you to be so grateful and to celebrate the place of awe. Because very often we are living an answered prayer and we forget it. And we think, oh yeah, now I'm just going to start creating this. Just pause and stand in it for a moment like, thank you, God, for this life of mine. Can we please go to prayer? Yes, everybody join me, please. Ah. How grateful I am. How eternally grateful I am to live right here, right now, in this divine space of life overflowing, to know that this is the truth, that God is absolutely overflowing in love, in joy, in peace, in forgiveness, and happiness, and that we are simply the space of receiving. Our yes is that big today. I bless every individual in this space and beyond. Those live streaming, those that see this later, I bless our hearts that we are now willing to grow beyond any past paradigm that ever has been a place where we stood. We now let go and begin again, stretch again to accept more goodness, more greatness. I bless every individual here with more joy than their heart has felt before, with more sweet let go, for in the let go, they accept the grace of God to guide them to the next adventure of their life. We are standing on extraordinary, and our yes is massive. I bless us all. I bless this beautiful center. I bless all the practitioners, ministers, everyone that is bringing this center so beautifully into alignment. I bless us all as I simply let it be and let go. And so it is. Amen.